Today on Stock Charts in Focus, we're refining your search and discovery process out there in the markets, talking about my two favorite ways to run and review your scans. Now, if you know Stock Charts, you know that the way to really make it fly is through scanning, building in your own technical criteria to these market searching filters that you can run whenever you want. On the show today, we're going to show you my two favorite ways to do it. One in SharpCharts, one in ACP. You're going to walk away with some exciting tips and tricks, some new workflow ideas that are really going to enhance your scanning process. So lots to cover on the show today. Of course, you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show, Stock Charts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show here on the channel where we dig into the site, dive into the tools, show you around the features, and ultimately help you get more value out of Stock Charts. That's our mission here every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, up on the live channel, also up on our YouTube channel after that, and the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. Lots of ways to watch. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. As always, fantastic to be back with you, especially on a week like this one, where we get to have some fun digging into, as we do always, some of the tools that I use in my own process. Now, it's easy to do that because I use pretty much everything around the site, but this one in particular, I am very excited about. Scanning, if you know Stock Charts, it's a little bit intimidating for some new users. It's a little bit scary, but over the next couple of weeks, we're actually going to be breaking down scanning, making it easier, making it better, and we're hitting it today by kind of showing you the power of scanning before we dive into the nuts and bolts of how it works. So if scanning is something that has been intriguing to you, definitely keep an eye out for the next couple of episodes of this show. We're going to have a lot of fun digging into some scanning tools. Now, scanning really is the way that you make Stock Charts fly. The charts are great, the lists are important, but scanning is how you take Stock Charts to the next level. So like we mentioned in the open, the show today is going to dig into two of my personal favorite ways to run and then most importantly, review your scan results when you get those back. Very, very cool things. We're going to do one in SharpCharts, and then we're going to do one in ACP. You're going to see some highlights for both of those key platforms. So without further ado, I think we should just jump over to the site and get it going. So here we are on the members dashboard. This is the heart and soul of your Stock Charts account. Of course, first page that you see when you log into the site, but also gives you quick access to your scans. So our first stop on the tour today, first stop on our exploration here, is going to be to jump over to the scan workbench. We're going to start in the SharpCharts world, then we'll jump over to ACP, take a look at some scanning tools over there. But here in the SharpCharts world, that's why we're starting on the dashboard. We're going to hit this scans button in the top right corner. Now we can also get here from pretty much any page around the site, by the way. If you open up that little menu at the top right corner that's got your name in it and look for that Your Scans link in there, that's also going to take you to the scan workbench. But if we're on the dashboard, we hit that button, that's going to take us right down to the Your Scans area. By the way, a really quick note, if that is not visible for you, hit this little gears icon in the top right corner of the platform. Make sure that you have scans and alerts checked on your dashboard preferences. That'll make sure that you have those panels enabled on your dashboard. Then you should get that button. You can hit scans, takes you right down here. So this allows you to actually run a scan directly from the dashboard. Now we'll jump over to the scan workbench and show you how to do things over there as well. But in this menu, what you can do really, really quickly, many of you are going to be familiar with this, select the scan that you want to run and then hit run. That'll run that scan right from the dashboard. So in our case for today's show, I've put together a scan that is actually a great one to run and review every few weeks at least, if not every week. S&P 500 stocks above their 200-day moving average. This number actually just crossed above 50%. Pretty exciting thing for the bulls. But we've put that together into a scan. So we can select that here from the dashboard and hit run, and that's going to run that scan right away. Or we can also jump over to the Workbench itself. If we hit edit, we can actually see what that scan syntax, as we call it, looks like. Now, if you hit the Your Scans link from that top right corner, that's going to be the page that we take you to. It's going to take you right over to the Scan Workbench. So same kind of thing here. If you want to select a scan, and then you'll get that criteria, and you can hit Run down at the bottom. Now, I want to pause here for a second because I know scanning can be pretty intimidating to a lot of people. You see this kind of code-looking type of thing, and it looks a little bit scary. Next week's show, we're going to really start to break this down. We're going to talk about some of the key ways to get started with scanning, show you some of the tools that you can use to actually start building your own scans and running scans without having to write anything. I'll be honest with you, I don't write my own scans. I actually use these different tools that we have around the site, things like this scan components area that we're going to dig into next week. I use areas like this and other tools that we have, like our predefined scans page and our sample scan library. Again, we'll dig into all those next week, but you're able to actually use those tools to put together your own scans. So for something like this, I actually didn't have to write any of this code myself. The only thing that I had to change was setting my little group here for the S&P 500 and setting what moving average I want in this value right there. So we'll dig into all that next week, but we're going to break this down. The other key thing that I do want to mention is that scanning seems intimidating, but when you just sort of strip away your preconceived notions, your preconceived fears, and you try to read this kind of as text, it actually becomes a lot simpler. So what we're looking for is stocks that are in the S&P 500. That group is going to be the S&P 500. And they're going to be closing, or the last trading price is going to be above their 200-day moving average, SMA, simple moving average. So when you kind of read through some scan syntax, the more comfortable that you get with it, the more that you'll realize it's actually pretty straightforward, pretty intuitive. So that's my little pitch on scanning here before we dive into it really in full next week. So anyways, we've got our scan selected, stocks above the 200-day moving average. We're going to hit Run now, and we're going to get those results back. Again, we could do this from the dashboard, or we could do it from the Scan Workbench itself. Once we hit Run, this is what the results page looks like. Tells us what our scan is, actually shows us the syntax here as well, just in case we're worried about it or wondering kind of what it is. And then we get a nice results page with all of the results that have come back for this scan. So in this case, we can see that there are currently 280 stocks in the S&P 500 trading above their 200-day moving average. Now, I've picked this scan in particular because it's a big list. It's something that is sort of challenging to filter through. Some of the tools that we're going to look at on the show today actually help you filter through large lists like this. So we've got a couple of different ways that we can review these scan results. Here in the SharpCharts world, though, we're going to take a look at one of my favorites, which is going to be CandleGlance. Now, on the page itself, you do have the option to actually hover over any of these symbols, and you'll see that you get a quick little mini chart. You can also use any of these links over on the left side to actually open up different charts for those symbols. So if you wanted a sharp chart, if you want to jump over to the symbol summary page, maybe you want something like gallery view or a P&F chart. For any of these individually, you can jump over to those charts really quickly with these links. You can also click on the name to actually open that up. But that's going to go through one symbol at a time. That's a pretty clunky process. Maybe it's okay if you get 5 or 10 results back from a scan, but especially when you've got 280 results to filter through, that's a big list. So what we're going to want to do with this list, we've run our scan, we've got that syntax, we've got our criteria picked, we've run that scan, we've got our 280 results back. What we're going to want to do is save these to a chart list where we can start to actually filter through that list, see the charts, kind of cull it down to a more manageable list. So super easy, couldn't be more simple. Up here in the top right corner, we've got our member actions button. We've got a big green save to chart list button. So we've got a couple of options in here. We can merge this with an existing list or replace an existing list. For our purposes today, we're going to keep SharpCharts selected. We're going to select new list. We're going to stay right on there. And you'll see that actually puts the name of the scan and the date in the chart list name. So we're going to hit save, and that's going to take us right over to that chart list. So we can see that we've got our 280 stocks now. If we actually scroll all the way to the bottom here, we will get that little label, 280 stocks in this chart list. This has now been saved to our account. Now at this point, this is a full chart list. We can view it in summary view. We can go to the edit view and start to move things around. We can pull up any of the other views like chart list view, chart book, gallery view, any of those chart list views that you're familiar with. You can review these scan results with those views. The one that we're going to highlight today, though, my first favorite from the SharpCharts world, is CandleGlance. Now, what CandleGlance does when you click on over to this view, it's going to take all 280 of those symbols that have come back from our scan, and it's going to put them on one page together with these little mini charts. Now, you can actually customize these mini charts if you save a chart style to your account called CandleGlance. It's actually going to allow you to customize these. So you can see right here in this menu, which actually selected custom style because I've sort of customized mine. So you can breeze through a couple of these different ones or create your own custom CandleGlance style. But what this is going to allow you to do is filter through a big list with these little mini charts all on the screen. And it's going to make it a lot easier to go through that list. When you're reviewing that scan, when you've got 280 results to review, doing that one symbol at a time, one big chart at a time, that's going to be a lot of work. CandleGlance allows us to kind of break down that process and filter out the ones that are just easily detectable as bad downtrends or things like that. So in this case, we can go through this list of S&P 500 stocks trading above their 200-day moving average, and we can start to filter out visually the ones that maybe don't look appealing to us. So we've got something like Accenture that's generally been in a downtrend. If we want to kick that out of the list, hover over it, hit that little trash can icon, and we can kick that one out. Agilent, kind of the same thing. It tried to make a move higher. It is really testing its 200-day moving average, but maybe we want to say, we're moving on from that one. So we can start to filter this list down now, going through the entire 280. BG, we might want to kick that one out. We've got, a couple other ones in here. Berkshire, really just kind of drifting sideways, not doing anything. So you can see that it becomes pretty easy to actually go through this list and start to filter it out for just the ones that are going to be more interesting to review on the full chart view. So that is our first stop here. CandleGlance, especially when you customize these charts, when you save that chart style and actually customize your CandleGlance charts, this becomes an incredibly powerful tool for reviewing large lists. Again, it's hard to do that just one chart at a time. If we do something like ChartList view, for instance, and we see we get one chart at a time, we have to scroll through 280. We can do the same thing with this view. We can delete the ones that don't look appealing to us, but this is a lot more work when we have to do this kind of one big chart at a time. So CandleGlance is a great tool for reviewing large lists, reviewing those scan results, taking a look at the ones that come back, kicking out the ones that just sort of don't look interesting on that mini chart view, and then it gives you a more filtered list to start to pick through and review. So very, very cool. I love showing people this view, and people that have been using StockCharts for a long time, I'm always blown away by the love that people feel for CandleGlance. It seems like one of those tools that when new people come to StockCharts, they kind of say, I don't really get this thing. I don't like those mini charts. I want my full charts. And then I talk to users that have been using StockCharts for a decade or more, and they say, you know what I learned over time? CandleGlance is one of the most powerful views on the site. So I second that. I think CandleGlance has a lot of value to it. So you've seen here in the SharpCharts world now, we've run a scan, we've saved those results to a chart list in our account, and we can start to review those with CandleGlance, a great, great view. Now we're going to take a look at my second favorite way to run and review your scans. And to do that, we're going to jump over to ACP. So I've cheated here just a little bit. I've got ACP pulled up in another tab. If you're not familiar with ACP though, this is our other charting platform that we've built, kind of an all-in-one solution. If you don't want to have to jump from page to page and kind of navigate around the site, or if you like that more interactive, kind of fluid, dynamic charting experience where you can almost reach out and grab the charts with your hands, ACP might be for you. We've got a ton here. ACP is always evolving, just like the rest of the website. We've got more features coming out in about a month and a half. Some very, very cool things coming to ACP. I'm excited to share those with you. But we brought this out a couple of years ago, and we now have two different ways to chart the markets. If you like that sort of classic view, the SharpCharts view that we were just looking at a minute ago, that's fantastic. SharpCharts also getting a lot of love this year, going to continue to grow and evolve and develop over time. If you like that interactive experience, a little bit kind of newer, fresher, something different, you can move things around the screen. If you want to, position this indicator down below here, we can do things like that. Very, very cool what we can do with ACP. If you like that experience, then ACP is another option for you. Now, the other great thing about ACP is that, like I said, it kind of puts everything all in one place for you. So we've got these sidebars over on the right and the left side. You can set alerts from ACP. You can review ChartList from ACP. You can run scans, as we're going to see in just a second from ACP. You can see what the markets are doing. You can review things like the ticker cloud, click through symbols that are popular on the site. You can even trade directly from ACP and watch StockCharts TV from down at the bottom right here in ACP. So we've kind of built everything all into one place. You don't actually have to jump from page to page. It's just kind of all contained in one platform for you. So a quick highlight of some of the kind of differences between SharpCharts and ACP. One of my favorite things, though, is running scans here in ACP and reviewing those charts with some of the other tools that we built in here as well. So with that little background out of the way, speaking of sidebars, the second one down on the right side of ACP is going to be your scans menu. You can see that little scans icon right there. Give that a click. That's going to open up the scans sidebar. Now, this allows you to select and run any scans from your account right here in ACP. You can run those scans, get the results back, start to review those charts. You don't even have to save them to a chart list. That's kind of one difference between the SharpCharts world and the ACP world. The other thing you do have access to here in ACP as well, speaking of kind of getting up and running with scanning, you can actually run any of our predefined scans. So if you don't want to write your own, if you don't want to worry about that, you just want to look for kind of common things like new 52-week highs, strong volume gainers, new 52-week lows, those kinds of things. All of those predefined scans are actually available for you in ACP as well. So you can run those very, very easily. Now, back here on the Your Scans menu, though, we're going to take a look at my second favorite way to run and review your scans. So we're going to pull up our scan that we ran before, S&P 500 stocks above the 200-day moving average. We select that from the menu. We hit the big green run button. You can see the markets are moving on us a little bit. We've actually got 284 stocks above the 200-day moving average now. So here's our list. We get that whole list back. Really, really easy to breeze through these. We can see what's working, what's not. And if we want to pull up a chart for any of these, now we can save this to a chart list, but we don't actually have to. If we want to start charting these, all we got to do is give them a click. So you can see we click on anything in this list, and that's going to pull up a chart for that symbol. Gives you that little blue marker to indicate kind of where you are in the list. So this is a great way to review your scans on the fly. It allows you to run these things. You don't have to worry about saving them. You can just run scans, click through those charts, and if anything seems appealing, you hit the save button right up at the top of ACP, move it into one of your chart lists for review. Allows you to really kind of click through these things quickly. You can even use the arrow keys to actually move up and down, or click through these little arrows up here, or just select the ones that you want. So I love showing this to people. It's so easy to run these scans and review them in ACP. But there is a twist. We're going to add in something else to make this really, really fly. I said this was my second favorite way to run and review your scans. We're going to really make it fly now. So we're going to combine this with something called the Multichart Layouts feature. To open that up, we're going to go actually over to the left side of the screen. We're going to look for that Layouts icon. We're going to open up that Layout sidebar. So here in ACP, one of the other very cool things you can do is create multi-chart layouts with up to 12 charts on the screen. You can see you select your number of charts, or you hit the plus button to actually add another chart to the screen. Select your number of charts though, and select your layout. Now you can actually use this to create basically a CandleGlance equivalent here in ACP. Put 12 little mini charts up on the screen and flip through a list of 12 sort of page by page. But the other thing that you can do is start to get creative with your layouts that you're reviewing. You can use this to create basically a gallery view alternative. If you're familiar with gallery view, that's the same symbol in multiple time frames out in the SharpCharts world. We can do something very similar here in ACP as well. Under sample layouts, if you want to get started with this really easily, sort of quickly and easily, we've got some multi-chart views actually that you can use, gallery view and CandleGlance. Those will kind of get you started with some of those types of layouts. But what I personally like to do is put 2 charts up on the screen, a daily and a weekly, and use that layout to review my scan results. So we're going to show you exactly how that works. You've seen how to run that scan over on the right side. We're going to actually click back up to the top, so we get right back to the top of that list. Over on the left in this sidebar, I've got a layout that's saved to my account that's got a daily chart and a weekly chart next to each other. So we're going to pull that up right now. Remember, you can create these layouts and then actually save them to your account, just like chart styles, just like those chart templates that you use. So here are all of the layouts that I've personally saved to my account. Now, the one that we're going to focus on is my favorite. It's daily and weekly. I call it my level 1. If you're looking at these charts, we'll actually close this down so you can see it sort of in full. What we've got up on the screen now is a daily chart on the left and a weekly chart on the right. This is about 1.5 years worth of daily data and 7.5 years worth of weekly data. What this allows me to see for the same symbol is the sort of multi-time frame view, right? I can have that daily chart up on the screen. I can sort of focus in on that a little bit more narrow, how's it trading right now kind of daily view. But I can also keep the long-term trend, the long-term picture in mind with that view, the weekly view on the right. Now, the cool thing about these layouts as well is that if I want to focus in on one, I just hover over that chart, hit that maximize button down at the bottom, and that's going to sort of enhance that one chart to take over the screen. So I've got a 2-chart layout, but I can maximize either one. In this case, I've maximized the daily. I can really kind of focus in on that one and then minimize this back down. I can do the same thing with the weekly. Now I'm kind of focused just on that weekly chart. I can take a closer look at that without the daily getting in the way and then minimize that back down. What's really going to make this fly is a feature called Symbol Sync. So back here in the layouts panel, we'll open that one back up again, close down your layouts. At the very bottom, you've got some multi-chart settings that you need to get familiar with. You've got a sync option called Symbol Sync. That's actually repeated up here in the top right corner as well. So you can toggle that on and off from up here. But over here in the layouts panel, if you turn Symbol Sync on, what it's going to tell ACP to do is take any charts on the screen that have the same symbol and sort of keep those together. If you change the symbol of one, it's going to change the symbol of the other one. So in this case, we've got a multi-chart view. We've got 2 charts on the screen, our daily and our weekly. We can see that they're both using Agilent as the symbol, as the company here. A is the ticker symbol. So when we change one of these charts, because they both use the same symbol, it's going to change them together. It's going to keep those symbols in sync. That's going to be really important for what I'm about to show you. So turn on Symbol Sync, close down our layouts panel. We've got our daily and our weekly. We've run our scan. We can now click any of these symbols, and you'll see that that's going to keep both of those charts on the screen together. I can now click through these scan results with the daily and the weekly on the screen at the same time. Again, I can maximize or minimize either one. I can sort of zero in on the daily, zero in on the weekly, but I can now start to review these scan results, not just with one chart at a time, but actually with 2 different views. Multi-time frame analysis really kind of made easy here with scan results in ACP plus that multi-chart layout capability. I find this is incredibly powerful for reviewing scan results. It's one thing to find a stock that looks pretty decent on the daily, but if you see that it's in a long-term downtrend, that might be a reason to steer clear of that one. So this adds in kind of another layer of analysis that you can bring to your scan result review. Again, you can see how easy it is to set this up and then click through this set of scan results. Save any of the ones that are intriguing and interesting to you. And again, you can customize these layouts with anything. So in my case, we're looking at pretty simple charts here, just price, some moving averages, and price relative, the relative strength line up at the top. But if you want to go nuts, anything that you use on your daily chart, anything that you use on your weekly charts, you can add that into these layouts and use that in your scan result review. So that is our show for today, taking a look at 2 of my absolute favorite ways to run and review your scans, one in SharpCharts, one in ACP. Hopefully you've had some fun seeing how these tools work. Again, I find that these are some great workflow boosters. Really make it easier and more effective as you're running those scans. You can review those results more quickly and easily with CandleGlance, and you can really get sort of another layer of analysis there with those tools in ACP, taking those multi-chart layouts kind of to the next level, putting that daily and that weekly up on the screen, reviewing your scan results with it. By the way, if you want to add in additional timeframes or swap in other timeframes, maybe you're a longer term investor, so you want a weekly and a monthly. Maybe you're a shorter term trader, so you want a couple of different intraday time periods up on that screen. Anything that you can imagine, you can create it with those multi-chart layouts in ACP. Combine that with ChartList, combine that with scan results. It's very, very powerful what you can do there. I love showing people that feature. That's become a sort of a core workflow, part of my workflow there in ACP, using those tools and scans and sort of combining it all into a powerful process there for reviewing scan results. So really fun to share that one with you. Hopefully you had some fun seeing that. Again, that is our show for today. We're going to sort of kick things off here with this show. The next couple of weeks, though, we're going to be digging into scans, talking about some different ways to get up and running with scans, trying to break down the sort of the barriers around scanning, if you will. So if this show was intriguing to you, you saw kind of some of these tools for reviewing scans, and you said, dang, I want to do more with scanning. Stick around for the next couple of weeks. We are definitely going to have some fun digging into other scanning tools available to you. After all, that's the point of this show, digging into tools, digging into features, and helping you get more value out of StockCharts. Again, my name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. It's been wonderful to be with you. My last little note for you, don't forget, we mentioned it last week, Trading for Dummies. My new book is out now. The very cool thing about this, if you're new to trading, if you're new to investing, this is a great place to start. Even if you've been trading or investing for a long time, though, I was blown away going through this book, rewriting this book again. I was blown away at how much value there is in here. Some really, really great refreshers on core concepts and just key lessons that every investor, every trader needs to know. So even if you've been doing this for a long time, Trading for Dummies still has a lot of value for you. And most importantly, because it was written by me, the charts and the tools that we talk about, the technical tools that we talk about in this book will definitely help you get more value out of StockCharts. All the charts in here are StockCharts. It's full of tips and tricks, ways to get more out of the site as well. So pick up your copy of Trading for Dummies wherever you buy your books or on the StockCharts store, store.stockcharts.com. Trading for Dummies, the 5th edition, now available up there. Take a look, pick up your copy. I'd appreciate it, but I think you will too, because you're going to have some fun reading this thing. Lots of value tucked away in this book. So that's our show for today. Thank you again for joining me. I'll see you next week for more scanning here on StockCharts in Focus. But until then, chart on, my friends. Hey, Grayson Roze here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.